Start recording.
Awesome.
So the thing about Threads is that it is so new, um, as can be versus the other platforms that are out there, that I do think that this is an opportunity. Especially for those that are trying to do outreach beyond like our specific tri-county area. Even if you're looking at towards Cleveland, Columbus, Pittsburgh, beyond, they're going to be a little bit more in tune with what's going on the marketing, digital, social media front. That I believe, and I could be wrong, that there's an opportunity to start and creating that exposure for your business, to be able to drive traffic to what you want your people to drive to go and actually ultimately rest in, to get email
Yes.
addresses, whatever. So I'm gonna let you take it from here, Sammy.
All right. So I just flashed through the cover, the bio slide. You guys have seen this before. And we're going to grow your business with Threads. Another AI generated picture. I was looking at this yesterday and I was like, of course it's AI generated because her nails just look perfect. This polish. I don't know why that caught my attention, but we're here to talk about Threads. And this is the agenda we have. What is Threads? The intro, profile optimization, features to support your business growth on Threads, content strategy, best practices, and then measuring success. So I like to start with statistics, and although it's still new, it's not even a year old yet. We do have some stats. So there's currently about 160 million users on Threads. And it surpassed 1 million users in 1 hour. That was when it launched. So when it launched, they quickly, within an hour, had 1 million users on the platform. So Neymar, I don't know who Neymar is, but they are the most followed Threads account. And they have 12.1 million followers. And then on July 7th, their daily active users, the DAUs, was at 49.3 million. This is right after it launched. So right after launch, they have 49.3 million. But it has dropped significantly. It dropped almost 80% since its launch, 79%. So it had a good start and then it kind of fizzled. But people are still using Threads. So what is Threads? So it launched in July of 2023. It's coming up on its 1-year anniversary. People are calling it the new Twitter. So Threads emerged after the whole Twitter thing exploded. Elon Musk, but I think Meta created Threads before Elon Musk bought what is now X. But it's similar to Twitter. It's a microblogging app. So microblogging is quick. You have a limited number of characters. Because this is through Instagram, you can only access it through Instagram. It appeals to a younger demographic because that's who's usually using Instagram. So because knowing that, it presents opportunities if you are trying to target millennials and Gen Z and the younger population, because those are the ones that are typically using Instagram. So it is an extension of Instagram. Like I said, you can only access it through the app. There's a little swirl at the top. I guess it's a thread. And then you click that and it takes you over through to the Threads app. So it's deeply integrated, so much so that you will see Threads content in your Instagram feed. So that gives you another touch point. If you're not really posting on Instagram, if you post on Threads, it's still an opportunity for it to carry over and people can see it on Instagram, because they're trying to get people to go from Instagram to Threads, and convert those users. So what you do is you create threaded conversations, and the goal is to foster engagement and storytelling. So similar to Twitter, you have one whole thread. It keeps all the content together for that particular topic. So profile optimization, Instagram and Threads profiles are the same. And when it first launched, you weren't able to change your Threads profile at all. Right now, you're able to go in and edit your Threads profile, and it will appear differently on Threads versus Instagram. But when you initially start, it's going to just migrate your entire Instagram bio and all that content from your profile into your Threads app. So it imports the profile content verbatim. It's not going to change anything. Emojis, hashtags, is all going to carry over. You can update it. And so what you want to do is make sure you are maximizing your Instagram profile features, your content, your call to actions, your any information, your contact information, because when you go over the Threads, that's the information it's going to pull. So if you don't have that already put into Instagram, you're going to miss out on having that information on Threads also. So when Threads first started, it was very limited. You couldn't use hashtags. There were no pictures, video, audio, and now all that have changed. And I was just thinking about this as I was preparing this deck, because there was so many people who at that time was like, oh, I love that it doesn't have all of that unnecessary pictures and video, because I can just read and it's just, written content. And now it's there again. So Meta, Instagram, they're realizing what's working on their other platforms, and they're slowly pulling it into Threads. So you are able to post content up to 500 characters. And you can also upload videos and pictures. The videos can be no more than 5 minutes long. So you can easily manage your conversations with the different people that are engaging with you, with your followers on Threads, and facilitate your discussions through replies and follow-ups. And so it's not just written content anymore. There's GIFs, there's audio notes. I was surprised to see the audio notes. I did not know that was a thing on Threads, but you can do audio notes. One popular tool, especially for businesses, are the audience polls. So just like there's polls in the Instagram stories, you have polls on Threads where you can poll your followers and get their opinions. And so brands are using it to say, like for instance, my nonprofit, we're about to do a logo redesign, right? So we can put the logos up there and then have them choose which one, and then they're actively engaged. So there's different ways you could take advantage of the polling. And then hashtags. Hashtags were not on Threads when it first started, and people like that too. But now hashtags are there because hashtags are a very powerful form of marketing. I have a whole presentation on hashtag marketing. And so incorporating it into Threads, allowing people to use the hashtags, click on the hashtags, follow hashtags, it just is an extension of your brand, because you're providing another opportunity for people to engage with you. So the Instagram integration, your followers can easily find you through Instagram because it's all connected. They like all other platforms, they recommend followers to you. So they'll recommend people follow you. The post can be cross-promoted on Instagram. So from Threads, you can also choose to share information on Instagram. From Instagram, you can go into like where it says add to story. There's a button now that says send to Threads or add to Threads. And Instagram keeps getting funny with it because they keep moving the positioning of that button. They switch it between the story and the Threads. So when you think you're about to share to your story, all of a sudden you're in Threads and you're like, how did I get here? What's going on over here? So they do that. I think that's some of their A/B testing too, seeing which position works better when people are clicking. But there's a lot of cross promotion that can go on between Threads and Instagram, Instagram and Threads. So for your content strategy, just like any other platform, you want to identify your brand voice and persona, but it's recommended that that brand voice and persona, it should match your brand, but it should also be consistent with that audience that you're engaging with on Instagram, because that's who's coming over to Threads. So we talked about the millennials, the Gen Z. You want to make sure when you are putting out information on Threads, it's using keywords and hashtags and content that's grabbing the attention of that user group. And just like any other platform, you want to make sure you're creating a mix of content. So now seeing all the different ways you can use Threads with the GIFs, the polls, the video, the voice notes, the audio, all of it, you want to make sure you have a good mix. Are you educating your followers? Are you entertaining your followers? Lisa, I saw you dancing on social media today. She was entertaining her followers, right? You need a good I saw you over there. You need a good mix.
Unfortunately, that ridiculousness gets more views versus the probably like what I'm actually telling people. But I just wanted to show people that if I'm willing to do it, I'm not just telling you to do it. I'm out there myself.
Yes. And you also want to inform your audience, right? So you're not just here to sell. Notice none of this says sell either. You're not here to sell. You have to engage with your audience and build a community just like you would on any other social media platform or app. And part of that is being consistent, which I think all of us probably have to work on as it comes to Threads. But if you're going to use it for your business, make sure you have a consistent posting schedule so people do expect to see you there. Do use some of these this mix of content. Switch it up a little bit. You don't want to bore the people on your page. You can also ask questions. So that's a good way to boost engagement on Threads because it did start as a written content platform. So that's still very popular. So ask your questions, right? Which item would you like to see on sale for Mother's Day? Is a great question, right? And then it boosts engagement, but it also piques people's interest because is something going to be on sale? Maybe I'll go buy it, which can also now increase sales. So that's how we always want to be talking about it. Always be converting, right? ABC. Replying to comments. This is something that's overlooked on a lot of platforms, but especially Threads as people are figuring out. That's one of my hardest things as I'm trying to navigate Threads is how do I get to the comments? This post says it has 10 comments on it, but when I click the button, it allows me to comment, but I can't see the other people's comments. So getting familiar with these the platforms and how the content is shared so that when people are commenting, now that you're showing up and you're going to be posting, people are going to be commenting on your posts. So you want to make sure you set aside time to reply meaningfully to all of the comments and then encourage two-way conversations. That's more of the questions. That's more of what are you guys doing this weekend? What do you think about this? Or how do you navigate a situation? But you want to encourage it and get people to be social on your Threads platform. And here are some content examples that I think I got these from ChatGPT and also from good old regular research, right? So if I'm using Threads, we said be educational. What does that mean? So you have a care company that can share daily skincare routines. They can upload pictures and videos, right? So that's interactive. It gets people's attention. The interactive Q&A. So a fitness company can host a weekly Q&A sessions to answer their fitness queries, right? So you are there on Threads and you're there to answer questions. What questions do you have? How can I respond and answer them? You have your promotional content. Announce your special discounts with countdown visuals, right? So every post could have another 3, 2, 1, right? And then you have the visuals of what's going to come with that. It's also good for doing what do you call those? Like teasers. When you have new products or services and you do teaser posts and teaser videos just to get people's get their attention. You don't give them all the information at once, but you let them know you're going to be revealing it slowly and slowly. Platform exclusives. I've seen a lot of this in my research. They're saying that when people post Threads specific exclusive discounts, that their sales are increasing by 30 to 50%. And it's because you have these people who are in this niche social media space. They're not posting these on Instagram. They're only posting on Threads. So you have to be active on Threads in order to even see it. And then when you see it, those buyers now start to feel like they're in this need to know space, right? I'm in this exclusive space because I show up on Threads, they're going to give me this discount. So that makes those customers more likely to continue showing up on Threads because they have some perks and some added benefits to doing it, right? I've been following you on Instagram, you ain't give me these discounts, but if I click this button and go over to Threads, now I get all these different discounts. And it's the same as offer the free trials. So your free trial is only going to be for people using Threads, right? Whether it's a promo code or whatever it may be, but only those users get the free trial, and they have to click this specific link or follow this URL through Threads to get that discount or that free trial, right? So you have to be active on the platform in order to take advantage of it. And I will say, a lot of these tips and strategies, I don't think they're recreating the wheel. It's just about, I think, finding the platform that's going to work best for you in your market. Because there's a lot, right? We have the standard social media, and then you add to that Pinterest and YouTube and TikTok and Alignable. Like, it could keep going, right? So whichever platforms you're going to end up on, you want to make sure that you are just maximizing its features and really taking advantage and spending time on those platforms. So some best practices. So like I was saying, like other platforms, post consistently. You have to show up. So if you're going to use Threads, but show up on Threads, be there. Make sure you're leveraging the relationship between Instagram and Threads and cross promoting between the two. It's the same as the relationship with Instagram and Facebook, right? If there's people who are like, I don't want to be on Facebook, it's old people there. I call it the AARP of social media. So some people just don't want to be on Facebook, but it's connected to Instagram, right? If you're running ads, they're going to run on both platforms. You can't even have a business Instagram account without a Facebook page, right? So it's like you might as well take advantage of these platforms because they're so closely connected. So engage your influencers or partners in the industry. That was also really big. So look at they call them partners in your industry, competitors, right? Who else is showing up in your space? Can y'all do some cross-branded partnerships and promotion where you can take advantage of their audience, they can take advantage of your audience? So it's the same, participate in other brands' trending conversations. So if I do PR, and there's some really big PR companies, right? So if I follow one of those big PR companies, and then I can start engaging in their conversation. They started the conversation. All I did was show up and add input under my brand name. Now I'm getting more exposure just because I showed up where they are. So that's a good strategy, just to insert yourself where the people are, help you gain attention, but also start pulling over some of those followers because they'll see you as a value agent also. They'll start believing and trusting because you sound like you know what you're talking about. They'll start following you. Hopefully you start seeing some conversion that way. Use conversation starters. Conversation starters can be as simple as, happy hump day. How's your Wednesday going? Right? Tell me about your commute this morning. Those are just simple conversation starters so that people are engaged, and you're not asking for much of them, right? You're asking about them, which makes them want to share because people love talking about themselves. That's the thing people miss on social media. People love talking about themselves. So give them an opportunity to talk about themselves. What was your greatest accomplishment this week? What was your big win? Put the conversation starter out there and give the people an opportunity to engage. We talked about the polls. Polls are really good at boosting engagement. And then respond to followers. Lisa, my son is next door and calling me. Let me put this on mute. Hold on 1 minute. Kids don't care about at all. Can he go get his bike? No. I told him I'm teaching a webinar. Like, leave me alone. So respond quickly to your followers. So these apps are beginning to track how soon it takes for you to respond. Facebook, Instagram, especially in your messages and your DMs, it will say responds quickly, usually responds within 3 hours, responds within 6 hours, doesn't respond on weekends. So you want to make sure when people send you a message, some content on Threads, that you're responding to them quickly. And then we're going to get into measuring success. So Threads does not have a way to independently measure its own metrics. So right now, everything is through Instagram, but Instagram also doesn't really parse it out. There are apps you can use, like a third-party app you could use to try to measure your success. The funny thing about this is, I always talk about the vanity analytics and how we don't want to really pay attention to the vanity analytics because we want to know the reach rate, the engagement rate. We want to know the impressions, what was the actual reach of our content. You can't do that with Threads. So with Threads, you are paying attention to those vanity analytics. How many likes did you get? How many followers do you have? How many replies? And there's fields within the app that you can go and look at your number of replies. It doesn't tell you the number, but you can go to the screen and it lists your number of replies. How many reposts do you have? So on Threads, it has a little button under each content piece where you can just repost it and share it, just like, you can share on other platforms. So reposting is kind of like the same as saving. Well, on Instagram, you can save and then you can download it yourself and repost. So those analytics are going to kind of not be even, but they're similar. So on Threads, you see a piece of content, you repost it. On Instagram, you see a piece of content and you save it, or you can share it to someone else, right? And so that's how they're measuring your engagement, your reach rate, and then your website click-through rates, or if it's your link tree, or what your call to action link is, right? So you can go to like we use Linktree, right? I can go to Linktree and pull up the click-throughs and see who's coming from Threads, who's coming from Instagram, Facebook, my website, whatever it may be. So you can't get that information directly through Threads, but the information is there if you do a little bit of digging or use a third-party app. And then you have mentions. So you can add people on Threads just like the other platforms. And so the number of mentions that your business page has is going to help expand your visibility, right? Because it's going to keep showing up on those other people's Threads accounts because they added you and added your business. So Lisa, that's all I got for Threads.
I think that is all good information. Out of curiosity, because this is like you did touch on, and this is probably what bothers me a lot is the hashtag. So you can see on other platforms the hashtag that you're utilizing and the following that it has. And even those similar too, so you can do your compare and contrast before you select which one you're going to. But with Threads, you can't see
You
how
can't see
many,
anything.
it is the most infuriating, especially when you're trying to grow your following and grow that base.
And you
Because
don't know which hashtags are effective.
exactly, which they change all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a podcast, like I have a podcast, like is just tagging podcasts good? Or because you're also limited to how many hashtags, you could only have one. So is podcast threads? Is that better to utilize? It's just interesting as we
What
try
I
to
wonder
navigate
is, have other companies, because they do this for Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever it is, where you can search the most popular hashtag for your industry.
And that's what I loved that you said, is like, look to see what your competitors, those that are in your same space, are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I go to another, like, who were we just talking about? Jasmine Star. She's not really my competitor, but I think she's awesome. But let's see, what she. See, I can't imagine her not having a Thread account. Maybe she doesn't, or did I spell her name wrong?
There's
Maybe
a lot of people who do not, they're not on
there
Threads yet.
there she is, and of course she has already 82,000 followers. Um, now let's see if she's posted anything. Now, so this is the other thing that I noticed on Threads, is a lot of times you don't see the hashtag.
The hashtag in the comments. I can never find the comments.
So now I can find the comments on the thread, like I can see the thread of the conversations, but I have no idea what she's hashtagging.
But she may not be using the hashtag.
Oh, that's killer to me.
A post with no hashtag? Oh,
I
blasphemy.
know, I know. I will do that on Facebook a lot. I won't hashtag as much on Facebook as I do Instagram.
So like this one, she is using the hashtag. So it doesn't show up as a hashtag. It shows up as a URL, like a URL hyperlink.
Oh, interesting.
And then when I click there, it takes me to the top in the recent. The top post and the recent post.
Interesting.
Yeah, how many followers does Gary Vee has? 1.5 million.
Of course. What's also interesting is that I'm a person who doesn't like to have any numbers by any of her apps. Like that's like
That's me.
that's an anxiety thing. So I cannot stand the channel that they have on Instagram.
Oh, because it has it at the top.
So I keep showing that I have messages, and it's Gary V sending me stuff like that he's doing. And I'm like, listen, dude, I
And
love you. You are amazing. You are literally a superstar that I look to see what you're doing and try to implement that and make, because I know he's ahead of the game when it comes to social media. He's definitely one of the top. So I'll follow him to see what's going on. But with that comes the whole Instagram constantly showing me that I have missed messages, and I'm like, what? I didn't miss anything. What's going on?
No.
From the broadcast channels.
I just liked your post.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's actually a really good podcast. You should with Olivia. Like, it's really good. She's great. Oh, and there we go. I'm already following you, Talia.
Well, so I just realized that, so I joined Threads like the day it came out
Oh,
on my personal, but I never did either like of my business pages. So I guess I should probably do that.
so that's my issue is I have too many business pages. So I'm always trying to stay up to date with all of them. Oh, am I following? I must be following you because I saw your post.
I just followed you.
I was not following you. I'm following you now. So yeah, so that is
That's basically it. I do think that when you think about everything between X Twitter and and Threads. I think that there is the dynamic of reaching your, I envision the person who is on Threads is 100% under the age of 35, and those that are above the age of 35 are, I feel like, you're cooler, more like more flex people in this world.
Yeah,
That I think that they veer towards that versus Twitter.
my
And
son
Twitter,
calls
you
those,
have to pay for it now, don't you?
yes,
So,
yes. I've never been on Twitter, so
yeah. I've never
I
been
don't plan on going that route.
lacing up my shoes, about to go for a run. Tweet.
Well, now you could do that on Threads.
I know.
That's what Threads is supposed to be here for. It gives you it's an outlet for those people, those Twitter exiters that need somewhere they can put that every day.
Exactly. Oh, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Looking forward to next month, TikTok CapCut.
Yes, and I just found out my friend's son is using CapCut to do stop motion videos.
Oh,
And I'm like, oh, I don't think I'm getting a PhD in CapCut. So I don't think we're gonna go that deep into it, but we'll figure out.
you should see if he could send you some like an excerpt to even just show.
Yeah, I'll get that. Because she said with his like with action figures, he's doing these things. So I'll see what happens. See what I can add to next month's presentation.
That'd be awesome.
Yes.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope it's sunny there like it is here.
It finally is. This morning was a
Yeah.
deluge.
Yeah, that was us last night.
That's what my creative operations manager said. She's in Wisconsin, and I said, I guess we got it now. This morning I was sitting here and it got completely dark. And I said, why is it so dark outside? And all of a sudden the sky opened up. But I realized this was 7:30 exactly on the dot, which is the time my son gets off the school bus to go into the building. And he did not wear a coat or anything today. And I'm texting him and I'm like, did you get soaked? Are you wet? What's happening? So I flew out of the house with a hoodie to go bring it to him. And I see his teacher and I'm like, can you please give it to him? So that I text him and tell him, your teacher has your hoodie. Go talk to your teacher. And he texts me and says, I still don't have the hoodie. I'm still soaking wet. I'm like, go find the teacher. And he's like, but I'm in band watching a movie. I can't leave. You're watching a movie and it was a half day. Nobody takes this day seriously. I'm like, go before you get pneumonia, go find that woman, please. That's how I started my day.
I see you beat me. I opened the app to document our Wonder One. I see you beat me to it. So
I did. I'm going all the way back to January.
do it. I'll take them.
That's awesome.
Yes. All right. This was fun. And yeah,
Yeah.
I will be back next month talking about Tickety Talk.
That's right.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.